folks, this video is all about D&D Direct's announcements yesterday and the future of the IP. There was a lot of stuff that came out from D&D's announcements yesterday, and we're going to give our reactions and unpack a little bit of just about everything that they had to say.
Yep.
With a little bit of commentary from off camera, perhaps. So the first thing that we got to talk about is the Spelljammer stuff. I know people have been speculating about Spelljammer from before Tasha's Cauldron even came out.
Yeah, it's been something that every time there's like a new setting book or something, everyone always seems to be like, is it Spelljammer?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to try to keep this mostly about D&D, but we have to make some comparisons. Starfinder has been around for a little while now, and on Critical Role with all the stuff going on in the story with the moon, I don't think it's really, it's not a surprise that Spelljammer has come out. I have been waiting for this. I'm a little bit familiar with Spelljammer from the 90s. And I don't think you...
I've never played Spelljammer or really had much exposure to it, so it's just been like little nuggets here and there that I've heard about it.
Yeah, something that I think that's really cool that you pointed out while we were watching the announcements is that it really looks like fantasy in space.
Yeah.
As opposed to science, as opposed to sci-fi fiction in sci-fi fantasy in space.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people are going to kind of compare it to Starfinder, which Starfinder feels a lot more of the sci-fi fantasy elements.
And we have our new addition for some of our thoughts here. I think it's really cool that Spelljammer is coming out in the pack. 3 books, a 2-sided map, DM screen. Yeah. That's really neat, although I'm curious what that's going to do to the price point. I would expect that to be well over $150 US. And it looks like D&D is doing a lot of work to get more people into the game, and I can see that price point being a barrier.
Yeah, I do kind of hope that they may release the books separate from that pack as well, because especially those first 2, I could see wanting to get those without having the map and the GM screen, or even the adventure where you want to play using the Spelljammer setting, but not that specific adventure. So
we'll see if they also come out with those individually. I loved seeing all of the miniatures, and can we talk about the Flumph Pirate Captain?
So cute.
That's amazing. I want it so bad. I did think it was really interesting that there are some of the space creatures and ships to scale, and then you've got the second side of the map, which I'm curious if that will be like a Starfield. And I wonder if that is Wizards' way of trying to get into the ship-to-ship combat, sort of the tabletop tactical warfare that's a big part of some of the other games that are out there. Starfinder and X-Wing Squadron, stuff like that.
And also with the miniatures, as well as the artwork, I think that kind of helps sell the fantasy, like space pirate, space punk feel of Spelljammer. So, because watching some of it, I was like, oh, this feels a little like Guardians of the Galaxy-esque.
Yes. All right, so there's a lot. We're going to get through some of these. 2 that we can get through really quickly are the announcements and updates about Baldur's Gate 3 and the Neverwinter MMO. They look cool. I don't play them.
Yeah, I don't play MMOs.
I played Neverwinter back when it first came out, and I think I've played it a couple of times on PlayStation. It's really neat. It's just not really my thing. And then for Baldur's Gate, I loved playing that back when I was in middle and high school. But I'm really waiting for that to come out on console if I play it at all. So we don't have a lot of opinions on that one. If you know more and you're really excited about either of those, let us know in the comments. The announcement about all of the Radiant Citadel adventure books is really cool. I love the diversity and the inclusion, the fact that they brought in an entire writing cast of people of color. I think that that's really awesome. I think we had one kind of concern about it.
That they brought in these writers just for this adventure, and that we're not going to see that kind of diversity continue on just in any of the rest of the books and the writing staff and the game developers.
Yeah.
Which I definitely would hope that continues, because the more diversity you have in those creators, the better stories and the better games are going to be.
Yeah, but the 3 that were sort of previewed looked really cool, and I could definitely see picking up a couple of those, and I love that it takes you level 1 through 14. That's really nice.
Yeah.
So the next thing that we saw were the announcement of the bad guy tokens. I think those are really cool, but this is a moment that sort of feels like Wizards of the Coast playing catch up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of other companies have put out those kinds of tokens, so really the big thing is just, okay, it's going to have the official art on it.
Yeah, we've had those tokens from Paizo, from Broken Token, from
A lot
Hero
of third
Forge,
party, yeah.
and more. So it's really cool. It's official, but it's nothing really new.
They also included an update about the new D&D movie.
Yeah.
It was exciting seeing the title, Honor Among Thieves. The rest of the update was not much of an update. It was just, hey, we filmed something.
I feel like we could get more information off of the IMDb trivia page.
And it felt like a little bit of a last minute, like, thrown together thing, just because from two filmmakers, it wasn't the best framing and had kind of awful audio.
Yes.
Like our audio at the beginning of the video when I forgot to hit the mic.
Yeah, so you know what? Hey, maybe it happened. Maybe somebody forgot to hit record on their boom. But
yeah, it was cool seeing the title.
The new starter set is cool. A new adventure. Clearly, I think Wizards trying to appeal to a younger audience, maybe even like that late middle school, early high school group. And the inclusion of digital content, which really isn't much of a surprise to see.
No, especially with D&D Beyond officially getting picked up by Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast. And I am excited to see it's a new adventure so that you're not having the death trap that is the mine encounter with the goblins.
Yeah. The announcement of the Monstrous Compendium, maybe I just don't get it. I thought the Monstrous Compendium in the 90s was kind of cool. It was a 3-ring binder. And then you had all of the different cards, and you could arrange them however you wanted by level, by type, alphabetical. You could pull them out for the session that you were running. But for me, a digital compendium doesn't feel any different than just having a bunch of different tabs open from other websites.
Yeah,
so maybe I don't get it.
I think it's more of the idea of like getting access to new monsters on a regular basis and getting them digitally rather than having to go out and buy a physical thing. So
yeah,
there's that.
So yeah, we'll see how that works out. And I think that the announcement of some of the previous books in new languages, well, not new languages, but more languages, accessibility is always good as far as we are concerned.
Excited to see a new streaming show, Legends of the Multiverse.
Yeah.
Really like that. There seemed to be kind of a nice diversity in the cast, and I recognized a lot of them. Very excited.
I mean, Abria and Deborah Ann Worrell. There were some really great names. Jenny D being in there.
So that's definitely something that we might try and put on when we have the time.
Onslaught looked pretty neat. I'm not much of a tactical miniature combat fan. Like, I paint Warhammer, but I don't play it that often. I do think that it would be cool if they don't change the scale of the minis, which it doesn't make sense why they would. It would be neat to be able to buy the minis for Onslaught and then use them in your campaign. And then lastly, there was the Dragonlance teaser, and it wasn't much more than a teaser, but absolutely hearing Shoreh Aghdashloo's voice makes me just want to know more. Like, as soon as I heard her voice, I was kind of all in, so I'm looking forward to seeing what new news comes out for Dragonlance.
Yeah, interesting to see these kind of looks like a setting as well as that tactical, so that might be something moving forward that we see more of those tactical games.
Yeah. So those were our thoughts from the announcements from D&D and what's going to be happening moving forward throughout 2020 and 2023. What did you see? Did you have some different thoughts than ours? Do you know more about some of the Dragonlance or Spelljammer or maybe the video games that we don't play? We'd love to hear your thoughts and have a conversation in the comments below. But yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Dawn.
I'm Ryan.
And this is Roll for Initiative.
Bye.
Bye. A big thanks to all of our patrons, especially Lainey. If you want to support our channel, you can head on over to patreon.com/rollforinitiative and check out the perks of being a patron. Rolling on camera, rolling on audio.
Do you ever?
Yes.